Who should I hire next? This is a question that I get all the time. Hiring is one of the hardest parts of business. It's expensive, it feels risky, and it can be unclear what the right next hire is. But hiring is undeniably important to growing a good sized business. By the way, if you don't want to grow a bigger business, then this video isn't going to be for you. So just keep doing what you're doing. But if you do want to grow a bigger business, then listen up. When you look at the most successful businesses, they're not solo operations. The companies that are making the biggest impact on the world and creating generational wealth, not just for the founders, but also for employees, they have a lot of employees. In fact, you can largely measure their business growth by looking at their employee growth. It's changing a little bit with AI, but the point still stands. To build something larger than yourself, you need to get great at hiring great people. So where do you start? And if you've already started hiring, what role do you hire next? That's what we're going to cover today. Before we really get into it, I have to give credit where credit is due. A lot of my thinking comes from Dan Martell's awesome book, Buy Back Your Time. Dan is a mentor of mine, and I was fortunate to spend a lot of time learning from him in SaaS Academy back when I was running my last company. And even though it was an agency, they were still taking non-SaaS founders in SaaS Academy. So I snuck in for a couple of years. The ideas of 80% done by someone else is 100% awesome, and getting tasks that need to be done but that you hate off your plate has completely changed how I build businesses. So with that intro, let's get into the 5 points I have about hiring. Point number 1, get the lowest level tasks off of your plate first. As Dan always liked to remind me, if you don't have an assistant, then you are the assistant. The $10 tasks that you used to do when you first started your business are no longer the tasks that you should be doing when you're running a 6-figure or larger business. This includes checking your email, scheduling appointments, paying bills, research. While you're undoubtedly capable of doing these things, they're stealing your time and attention that should be going towards higher value things. If you don't have one already, even if you already have employees, you need an assistant. My recommendation is to start with an experienced freelancer or a placement service that specializes in assistants. Look for personality fit first and foremost, because you're going to be working with them closely. And also look for existing knowledge of the tools that you use. Don't fall for the they can learn any tool trap that a lot of placement services try to use. It's worth it to hire someone who already knows the tools that you already use. It is possible, of course, to train someone to do it, but the question comes down to whether it's worth it or not to train them or just to hire someone who already knows how to do it. I prefer the second one. Number 2, find the bottleneck to accomplishing your goals and then hire for that. Once your assistant's on board and productive, you'll be able to focus more on the true work and not just the busy work. When this happens, you're going to start producing a lot more because your creativity is going to come back because you just have more time. As volume increases, you'll quickly find that there are bottlenecks in the production process. I believe in hiring to alleviate those bottlenecks. In a factory production process, for example, they're always looking for places that are not working well because fixing those bottlenecks leads to increased production. Think literally cars. It's unreasonable to think that you're going to be able to do all of the things that need to be done yourself. You can't keep running up and down factory line, even the digital one. So finding someone else to unconstrain the bottlenecks will be your highest leverage to growth. Point number 3, hire for your weak points, not your strengths. Too many people approach hiring backwards. I've done it myself. They hire for the thing that they know so they can focus on the things that they don't know. There is some wisdom in this, and entrepreneurs love to learn new things. We're creative and often ADHD. What all too often happens is you'll hire someone to do the exact thing that you love doing. And because you love doing it and because you're really good at it, you end up micromanaging them and thus frustrating them. And at the same time, you're also bad at and potentially hate the new things that you have to do now. So the better way to do it is to hire for your weak points so that you can focus on what you do best. Of course, you have to be familiar enough with the role and to know what is needed and to know what the right hire looks like, but don't move yourself into a role that you should not be in. It's amazing to me how many CEOs and successful founders end up basically being the company admin because they've hired people to do the delivery and the marketing and the sales and all the things that are super, super valuable that they're best at, and they end up basically getting water for everybody. Point number 4, should you hire freelancers, agencies, or full-time? The most common question I receive about hiring, especially when I ran my last agency, which was a lead gen agency, is if someone should hire a freelancer, an agency, or a full-time person. My framework for it is pretty simple. Doesn't have a fancy name, but here you go. If it's something that needs to be done occasionally and is a super specialized skill, then hire a freelancer. If you essentially need a team for the price of a full-time person, then hire an agency and learn from them all the different roles that are needed to do the thing that you want to do, and then eventually probably bring that in-house. If it's a more senior or strategic role, or it just requires full-time hours, especially if you started with freelancers or an agency and that has become cost prohibitive, then hire full-time. And then point number 5 is eliminate unnecessary work and automate as much as you can before you start hiring. Too many people hire others to do something that doesn't even need to be done at all. Maybe it's a channel like social media, which isn't getting you any return, and any spend on that channel is going to starve your other channels that are bringing in consistent and trackable business results. Or maybe it's something that could be automated. Companies who are thinking about hiring overseas VAs to do manual tasks should instead see if that task can be done with Zapier or AI agents or something like that. Technology works 24/7, unlike humans, and you're not going to have any HR issues. So there you go. I hope that helps you think through who your next hire is. If it does, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what your next hire is going to be, and I'll see you next time.